Hello, everybody. Welcome to our Wednesday prayer and Bible study. We've been talking mostly this month about artificial intelligence and humans, what the impact is, and it seems to be a subject that I think everybody should know about at this present time, since it's going to affect us all.
Right, and it's been going on for a while.
Right. This is not something new, since actually the 20th century, they've been working on this. Now, here we are in the present day. So I would like to ask the question today, are artificial intelligence and humans flawed or biased? Is that true, or is that yes, or is that no?
I believe it is.
You think it is?
Yes, I do.
Well, both humans and artificial intelligence, AI, are fundamentally shaped by flaws and bias, trapping them in a continuous feedback loop where humans' historic prejudice train AI, and AI outputs reinforce those exact flaws back into the human decision making. Because AI models learn from historical internet data, they inherit the systematic, Eurocentral, and unequal viewpoints of human history. So let's look at how humans infuse history with bias and how AI inherits and amplifies these flaws.
Okay, it looks like there's points here, and I'll go through those.
Well, yeah, just start with how humans, and because a lot of people, I don't think they realize what's really going on, that they're caught in a loop. But you can get out of this loop. But what I found out the most wisest thing to do is to be led by the Spirit. Because as we go through this today, you're going to find out that you're going to have to get in where you fit in. Right? So let's look at this.
That's the truth. It says how humans infuse history with bias.
Mm-hmm.
Human history has never been an objective record of absolute facts. It is deeply restricted by the limitations and prejudices of people who documented it.
Mm-hmm.
And one point here is selective perspective. It said for centuries, history has been written primarily by the dominant geopolitical powers.
Mm-hmm.
This creates a dogmatic, Western-centric narrative that frequently excludes or misrepresents marginalized groups, the global South, and colonized nations.
Mm-hmm.
The other point is cognitive shortcuts. Human brains naturally develop cognitive biases to process information quickly. While these shortcuts helped humans survive in their early history, they embed systemic prejudices into institutions like justice, healthcare, and employment.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's archival gaps. It says what survives in historical archives is inherently selective. Lower income communities and minority cultures are systematically underrepresented because their records were rarely preserved or prioritized. And that's that archive.
That's the human side of it.
Gaps, and those are big gaps.
So let's look at the AI side of it.
And then
How AI inherits and amplifies identifies
these flaws.
these flaws.
It says the AI systems do not process independent consciousness. They are advanced reflection machines. And when they interact with history, they frequently make existing biases worse. Because it's only going by what's in it.
Right.
And then it has here algorithm echoes. AI models train on vast amounts of historical data and past history, human choices.
Mm-hmm.
If a hiring tool is trained on the decades of resumes where men were historically preferred, the algorithm learns that men are inherently better candidates, actively discriminating against women.
So women, this is how AI is set up.
Yeah,
Be aware of that.
right.
Go ahead.
And then it says stereotype standardization. It says large language models fill in informational gaps by relying on prevalent online patterns. Audits show that when AI faces subjective geographical or cultural questions, it consistently frames certain regions as civilized and others negatively based on unequal internet content.
So,
Don't have it, the internet content.
so this is
Whatever's
where,
in it.
right, so let's look at, keep going on the next page.
Oh, okay. It says historical hallucinations. Wow. It says AI models prioritize plausible sounding language over strict factual truth. This introduces massive risks to historical integrity, ranging from the automated intervention of entirely fake historical events to the accidental spread of historical denialism and disinformation.
So that's the AI side of it.
Yeah, historical denial.
So this dangerous loop, humans inheriting AI flaws. Let's look at that.
It's the most alarming development in the modern history is that the bias flow has become a two-way street. Recent psychological research highlights a phenomenon known as human inheritance of AI bias. It says when professional human specialists such as doctors and historians and recruiters rely on an AI assistance that contains hidden systematic errors, they quickly mimic those same errors. Strikingly, studies demonstrate that even when AI assistance is removed, humans continue to make the exact same biased decisions. They learn from the machine. That's what human beings do. They copy everything also.
Right.
They learn this from the machine because the AI is widely trusted as objective. Its flaws outputs quietly rewrite human habits, trapping society in self-reinforcing loop of historic prejudice.
So this is where we're at, children. So here's how the Bible connects to the idea of flawed humans, nature, and flawed creation, because AI is a creation of man, right? So let's look at that.
It says, and what's so funny about that, man is not a creator or anything. So I'm just putting that out there. Because God is created, He made something from nothing.
God is the source of all creation.
He is the source, and
but
it got to come from God.
He gives humans to ability
to be created
like He is.
Right, but it has to got to be on the truth.
Right, so let's look at this.
It says,
humans are flawed and biased.
Okay.
Or here's how did I read that?
I'll read that. It says, here is how the Bible connects to the idea of flawed human nature and flawed creations. It says humans are flawed and biased. The Bible states that humans are inherently imperfect and prone to bias. It says the fall of man, and that's in Genesis 3, shows human nature, says human nature becoming broken and prone to error after disobeying God.
So that's where it all started.
Yeah, we have read that. Then it says inherent bias. That's in Romans 3:23 states, for all have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. That is stated in that verse.
Right.
It was my memory verse years ago. Then it says perception bias. In Matthew, the 7th chapter, verses 3 through 5, it warns against hypocrisy, noting that humans easily see the speck in someone else's eye, but miss the plank in their own. And that is in the verses.
That is true, right?
Yeah, it's true. And then favoritism. This is shown in James James, the 2nd chapter, verses 1 through 4, explicitly condemns partiality. It condemns partiality and bias based on the wealth or status.
So that's where we're at. Let's look at the problem with created images, the AI parallel.
Okay, it says while the Bible does not feature computers, it frequently warns against idolatry, which is the human act of creating an object and giving it authority. That is something, isn't it? And then it says reflecting the Creator. And that's found in, there's a verse in Psalms 115, verses 4 through 8, it describes idols made by human hands. It warns that those who make them will be like them. If a flawed human builds something that to rely on, that creation will inherently carry human limitations. The other point they have is the Tower to Babel. In Genesis chapter 11, details humans using their highest technology, brick making, to build a system to reach the heavens. God scatters them because they're unified. Scatters them because they're unified, unchecked. Ambitions are dangerous.
So we went over that, the Tower of Babel. Let's look at the theological connection.
Okay, and then the theological connection to AI. It says from a biblical perspective, AI can be viewed as an extension of human technology. Because AI is trained on data generated by imperfect, biased humans, the technology naturally mirrors those exact human flaws.
So, one thing that everybody can do, if you're going to be working with AI or an AI agent, or you work for one of these AI companies,
Right.
is when you're inputting data and you see some data that is not correct it before you input it, right?
Well, they probably had to go through whoever their
Well, yeah, they have to go through
the chain of command.
command.
They certainly
But
do.
you can tell them that that's not historically correct, or that's, biased or flawed or whatever, right?
That's right.
That's the only thing you can do when you work for these companies. You can make a suggestion. But if they say, don't worry about it, don't you worry about it. Don't you get caught up in that. Okay, right?
Right, because you would get in trouble.
The
just
only
like-
reason we're telling you this, so, a lot of people use the AI agent, and you gotta watch that you don't get caught in this loop, with these flaws and biases that we created ourselves, right?
Right.
And to get out of that loop, you have to look for the source of creation. The source is God, right?
He is the only source because he is the truth and he's the light.
Now,
You can't see without the light.
here's what a lot of people have been asking me. I talk to people on the street, and they, who come to our Bible class and family and friends and all that stuff. Can artificial intelligence be stopped? Can it?
If you
What do
pour
you
the
think?
blood on it, it'll probably cause a catastrophe.
Okay, well, that's what a lot of people think. But when you know anything about electronic technology and how it's set up and all of that, there's always a backup. If the power goes out, it kicks into just like a hospital.
Yeah,
If the power
we
goes
go
out
back
in
to
a
our
hospital,
paperwork.
the backup generators kick in until the power comes
We
back
have
up.
a physical things we
And
do.
with any corporation or hospital or corporation that uses AI, they have security, right?
They do.
So let's look at this. Let's see what the research says here.
Okay, can artificial intelligence be stopped? Stopping artificial intelligence completely is impossible because history shows humanity never permanently bans a powerful, useful technology.
Mm-hmm.
It says historical examples of unstoppable technology, the printing press in the 1440s. Religious leaders tried to censor and ban books they did not like. The printing press spread across Europe anyway. Ideas could not be locked away.
So that was a good thing because the printing press made sure that the people in the public realm knew what the hierarchies knew, right?
That's right.
Go ahead.
Gunpowder, the 9th century. Rulers in China tried to keep the chemical recipe a secret. The traders and the rival armies shared it worldwide. Every major power eventually adopted it.
Mm-hmm.
And then it says nuclear weapons, the 1940s. The world powers tried to stop the spread of atomic secrets through treaties. More nations built nuclear bombs anyway. Knowledge cannot be erased from human minds.
Mm-hmm.
Then it said digital encryption, 1990s. That was a way where you couldn't get in people's things. It said government tried to ban strong privacy codes to fight crime. Programmers published the math online anyway. Stopping the code failed because the information moves too fast.
So anything like this, you might as well say it's completely is impossible because of our history, right?
Right.
This is how we act here on earth. And keep reading.
Why AI follows this pattern. It says decentralized power. Basic artificial intelligence runs on ordinary computers. You cannot raid every hard drive on the earth.
Mm-hmm.
Then it says high economic value. Companies and hospitals use AI to save time and money. Profits drive rapid adoption.
Mm-hmm.
That is 100% true.
True.
It says global competition. If one country stops developing AI, rival nations will rush to take the lead.
So this is where we're at. Let's see, keep reading.
Let's say there is no single traditional computer virus that specifically stops an artificial intelligence from working. But security researchers have demonstrated that AI targets worms like Morris 2 that manipulate and compromise AI assistants through malicious text inputs. Instead of traditional viruses that break software code or crash an operating system, attacks on AI systems use specific methods to hijack and disable them. And it says how this malicious code target AI. It said prompt injections. Attackers hide invisible or malicious instructions inside ordinary data like email. And when an AI assistant reads the text, it treats the hidden text as a legitimate command rather than data. And that's true. They tell us not to open things up when I worked with the government. And then it says self-replication generate AI worms use what is this? Adversable prompts to force I had these drops from my eyes, excuse me. To force an AI model to output malicious payloads, spreading the infection to other connection systems and users without needing standard software vulnerabilities. Then it says resource exhaustion, traditional and denial of service malware resources. Heavy loops can overwhelm the high computing power, and it says here the GPU memory and the AI needs effectively freezing its operations.
Okay, so this information is freely available, and if it's open source available, right? Everybody knows this. The corporations know this. This is why cybersecurity is so growing as AI grows.
Right.
Because this is not going to stop. Amen?
No, I think it would cause a lot of catastrophes if it did. Because
everything's
people really rely on it.
Everything's connected.
People are not used to thinking on their own. That's what
It's
I
just
really
like,
wanted to say. They don't really think a lot.
Anywhere, any organization, or if you're in the medical profession, or if you're in a corporation, or engineering, if you're in science, technology, engineering, and math, this technology is on a network, and all these stuff on this network is protected.
Well, the reason I was saying it would cause problems for people and everything, because every time people are starting something new, they go do research to find out if someone has done this before, because one of the main things they say is, I don't want to reinvent the wheel. So they try and go and find what someone else has done.
Well,
and
this is something.
It's always like copying and pasting things.
This has been growing since the 20th century. And right now, more people use it, like Chat GPT.
Yeah, they do.
They
use it all the time.
AI agents, and this is something that has been going on for a long time. But, you have the whistleblowers, fear of artificial intelligence taking over. Well, we know it went rogue. That was a few weeks back. But just like some of these things that have been, the printing press, gunpowder, nuclear weapons, digital encryption, and AI falls right into that. These are unstoppable techs.
Right.
Because you can run AI on your computer.
People do that all the time. That's what I'm saying, they rely on it.
We got kids in college right now. I know if they're studying like I did in engineering, they are going through AI and looking at it all different kind of ways. Because that's what we did when any new software came out. We would used to be software was open source, so you could download it and you could, analyze it and see could you do this and see could you do that. And this is how AI came about, because when people like engineers like me and code writers and programmers, we were interested in to see, okay, can this system do this? Can it do that? And then we found out, okay, it can do that, it can do this, it can, and it can do it faster than we can.
That's what I'm saying, people don't want to reinvent the wheel, they don't
Right,
this.
so they have been building this system for a while. So, this is where we're at. What does the future look like for AI, you think? Can you imagine, what do you think it looks like?
If we didn't have AI?
No, if with AI is not going nowhere. So what does the future of humans and AI look like? What do you think it looks like?
I think the future of AI, it just makes me think it'll be more controlling with everything that we do. Like if I'm coming up with something new, like you're saying, if you're going through it and then there's something that's not in there that's right, and people see that it's not right, especially people that's they have the Spirit of the Lord in them. It's a lot of things I've seen that don't be right because the Holy Spirit let me know.
Mm-hmm.
And then in order to show people it's not right, I would actually have to dialogue and do some statistics and stuff to show them that what they had was wrong, and then they would change.
I work for a lot of big corporations, and when they come out with new software for the machines we were working on, or they wanted to update the product, we would sit down and have meetings about it.
Yeah, because you had to show
and
proof.
If you saw something that wasn't right, you had to have data to back it up. Data means the data saying if you do this, this will happen.
Right,
it ain't a possibility.
Stuff written out clear.
Right. You
and
had
measurable.
You would take that up to the chain of command, and then they would say, okay, yeah, that's right. I wasn't thinking about that. Mm-hmm. And that's where that
and the way about being a science too.
Kind of a shortcut.
You had to show some data, mathematics and data showing how often this occurred or marginal. It had to be something written in scientific data.
Right. So
you just
the
can't
future.
Say it and not
now this
show
is
no, proof of anything.
A theory. This is no guarantee that this will happen. This is just a theory.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the way you have to look at it, because we're in the present right now and we know what's going on right now.
Right.
I use AI, my wife uses AI, everybody uses AI, right?
Sure do.
So the future, let's see what this is. Now this is just a theory. This is not saying this is what's going to happen. Mm-hmm. Because you see some people on the World Wide Web, they saying this is what's going to happen if you keep doing this.
Fear.
But if you know who your source is,
right,
you don't have to worry about none of that, right?
Right.
So let's see what this says.
It says the future of humans and artificial intelligence will likely feature a hybrid workforce where people manage AI agents. Daily life is deeply automated. That's true. And society navigates major economic shifts.
So,
I see that. That's what I see coming.
okay, let's see,
And then it
changing
says,
workplaces.
Okay, it has 3 points here. Changing workplaces. It says the hybrid roles. Humans will act as orchestrators, setting goals for advanced AI tools rather than doing manual tasks. And then it said job shifts. Automation will displace the desk jobs in finance, administration, and tech, forcing workers to adapt to the new value chains. Excuse me. Then it says economic debates. Opinions on rhetoric are mixed regarding universal basic income. That's what that UBI, basic income. With some saying it's necessary to offset job losses and others doubting its viability under capitalism.
So everyday life in society.
It says look like it's 3 points here. It has multi-model assistance. AI systems will understand text, voice, and visual expressions seamlessly, creating intuitive interactions.
So you see this with
The text, the voice,
with these AI generator, these AI robots. This is happening right now.
and that's amazing. That means if I was supposed to be doing something, or my boss told me to do something, I'm on the phone and it's AI, sending the text. It'll be interpreting how I sound like this. Okay, sure, it makes, to them it makes sense. She don't seem too enthusiastic about doing this for me, and if it's something looking at me and I'm frowning, it's reading my expression, saying, her expression saying that she don't really give a damn,
This is
about what you telling her.
If you are entering college or in college, you really need to be up on how AI works.
You really do, because it'll be interpreting everything.
Let's face it, it's going to come a time that these robots, if they have them, robots will be able to repair robots and keep the maintenance up on it. So you have to look at, that's why I say you got to get in where you fit in. Right?
That's right. Then it has their personalized services. Daily routines will feature optimized traffic, tailored health care, and automated home management. Wow.
They have that right now.
Optimized traffic.
They have these AI homes. They can manage everything in the home, basically.
Probably be checking your blood pressure if you need that, and other things, and being able to say when you need your
If you got enough money and you can afford, a system like this,
you won't have to have a person.
It's out there.
Yeah.
Okay,
And then it says the other point they have is human agency. It says experts predict changes in how humans think, solve problems, maintain a sense of purpose as reliance on automated systems as they grow. And that's what I was saying.
Let's see here. Now, that's just one theory of the future. I mean, other people may look at it a different way, right?
Yeah.
So let's look at the end of artificial intelligence in humans. Because everything that we start, it's going to be, how's this going to end up? What's going to be the final version of this, right?
That's right.
Because you see, we started off with gunpowder and it ended up to nuclear.
Right.
Power.
It really,
Right.
everything moves faster, as you say, quicker.
Everything is moving
It'll
very
sell so
quick.
fast.
And you got to be able to adapt to change. You can't be stuck in the past. You got to stay in the present and be ready to adapt to change, to adapt to the future, right?
Well, what I see from it, just as quick as things have started, it can quickly end too. If somebody do something wrong with
Well, that's why we have to look at the end,
it,
right?
that comes quick.
We see the future.
Everything's moving fast.
We see how it could be in the future, so let's look how this might end.
Okay, it says the inner artificial intelligence in humans could mean either our extinction,
Mm-hmm.
or a permanent partnership where humans and AI merge into a super intelligence.
So this is what could be the end of this, that we either become extinction could be happen to humans. There could be no more humans left, right? They had a few.
No need for them.
Hollywood has presented a few
Right.
movies on extinction,
And,
or a permanent partnership with human and AIs merged into one superpower.
right.
I thought that was interesting. Let's look at that.
Right. It says extinction scenarios, a loss of control. There's 3 points here. Loss of control.
Right.
AI becomes far smarter than humans and pursue goals that do not align with human survival.
Yeah, that's
what I see.
That's the Terminator scenario.
Because we need to think more and do more
Right.
ourselves. And then it says resource competition. Advanced autonomous systems consume power, land, they do, materials, while pushing humans out of the economy and society.
Mm-hmm.
And then it says accidental harm. A poorly designed global system triggers a catastrophe while trying to solve an unrelated problem efficiently.
That's the
I'm
one.
thinking like this because I'm just not reading this.
This is our
boy.
last study. We were looking at Atlantis, and this is kind of like what happened at Atlantis. A lot of philosophies and people that study ancient history, and how the world began and how the Big Bang Theory and all of that. And when they go back as far as they can, they say that the Earth could have been reset many times, and it could be on the verge of being reset again.
I can see that.
Because, let's face it, this artificial intelligence, we didn't come up on this on our own. Like you said, why invent the wheel?
That's what I'm
We
saying.
found
People
some-
are
we
lazy.
found
They're
some,
not going to reinvent
Some
anything.
artifacts and stuff, and done some reverse engineering and
Right.
and said, oh, so that's what that does. But one thing about, finding artifacts when archaeologists and geological people, go into the oceans and, dig up the land and they find these artifacts. A lot of times they don't know the purpose of that device. And with us, every device, we seem to want to weaponize it.
Right. They may have made it for the good of man.
I mean,
but
let's
they
face
made
it,
to destroy man.
the industrial military complex, that's their, everything, they want to, okay, how can we use this to protect ourselves, right?
Or to have more power.
Or
over
have more
somebody.
power.
Okay.
So, integration scenario, let's see
It
how
says
that works.
human AI merging. People use high bandwidth brains, computer interfaces to connect directly with digital intelligence. High bandwidth. Okay, then it has your post scarcity society. Under this is talking about AI manages the physical world, curing diseases and stopping climate change, while humans live lives of pure leisure and creativity. I can't imagine that.
Well, this is what they believed how the earth was way, way back. Could be, you know, thousands of years or millions of years back, that this is how the earth worked, right? And it's not so hard to imagine that, because history repeats itself. And Solomon, one of the wisest men that ever lived, said, there's nothing new under the sun.
Oh, that's true.
Right?
That's true.
So what we got now could have already had existed, and something happened.
Right, and it was destroyed.
And it got destroyed, and now we're putting it all back together through these, you know, thousands of years that we have found some of these artifacts and finding out what they really are and what they really do, right?
That's right.
And, you know, a lot of ancient texts that we have found and translated them and found out different things that, how it was, right?
That's true.
And I think that the Greek philosophers were way ahead of their time, right?
Yeah, they were.
And there's people today that are way ahead of their time, right?
But I feel those who are really close to God, with God, you know,
Right.
they have this
Well, let's look at this
spiritual. It's spiritual.
Let's look at this digital
Insight.
upload.
It says human consciousness moves into additional substrates, ending biological life while preserving human thought inside machines.
So this is something that I
Yeah.
have heard that they're working on now, and I heard this way back, could have been 8 years ago, that this is how humans lived for hundreds and thousands of years, that they were able to transfer their consciousness
Into
into
machine.
something else. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm sitting here reading this, believe me, somebody's out there working on this.
Oh, sure. I
Because
that
that has always been one of man's main motives to live forever. Because, you know, suppose you were born and you were all right and you were in an accident and this body got all, you know, damaged, but it's nothing wrong with your mind, right? So when I found this out in the military, that, you know, they started, you know, giving veterans prosthetic legs and arms and all of that. And I don't know how deep the military, you know, would go when a body was, you know, damaged, I would say. You know, could they actually create them a robotic type body
Well,
and put their consciousness
have,
into it?
electronic devices that they connect to the patient, to their limbs and things like that, and they're able to walk, you know, with a therapist behind
you know,
by the electronic devices.
they also can do that. They can think about moving their hand and it'll
Right,
move.
and it'll move. They're doing
Right.
things.
So we're up there, and with AI, we're moving faster towards that. So, you know, if you happen to run into somebody and they seem to be very human, but yet they're inside of a machine, don't be surprised, right?
I won't be surprised at anything that men are doing. But, and a lot of things were going on in the Old Testament. It said man was inventing so many things, but God was not pleased with all their inventions. And so a lot of things get destroyed.
That's what makes me think,
They
there's
were
nothing
doing
new
things
under the sun.
Yeah, it's nothing new, so they were already doing it. Anytime somebody say that somebody was building a tower and it was reaching up to heaven, they had equipment that we do not have now. So yeah, it was a lot of things going on.
Well, there's a lot of theory around that Tower of Babel.
Yeah, it was a lot of things going on.
Thought that it was a stargate or a gateway to the heavens.
Well, it was
That
something.
what they were really building, but we're not going there today.
No, not today, but we know these things were
Are
occurring.
possible.
Right.
So let's see, where are we at here? The Bible. Here's what the Bible says about the end times.
Right, so we
so that you can get anchored.
Right. It says the Bible does not mention artificial intelligence by name, but it describes a future where human technology and pride led to a global crisis before God establishes his final kingdom. It says the beast, the image of the beast in Revelation, a speaking image. In Revelation chapter 13, 14 through 15, the book of Revelation describes a false global system that creates an image of the beast. And then it says it's brought to life. This image is given breath so it can speak and cause people to worship it. And then the third point here says the modern parallel. Many Bible teachers see this as a warning about advanced technology, robotics, or AI being used to control people and demand ultimate loyalty.
So this is why I say this is where we're headed. But the Bible always gives us a warning, right?
That's right.
Let's see the final outcome.
It says human kingdoms fall.
Say that.
Human
kingdoms fall. That's a history of the world.
Right, it is.
That's just the way it is.
It is.
Go ahead.
True. The book of Daniel explains that human empires and their great achievements will eventually be broken down. It says God's kingdom wins. God's eternal kingdom replaces all human systems of power, technology, and pride.
So, the book of Revelation is in our Bible for a reason.
Yes, it is.
And that 13th chapter of the book of Revelation, we studied the whole book of Revelation. And that 13th chapter starts with the beast from the sea.
Yeah, it does.
And then it talks about the beast from the earth.
Yeah.
And let's just read them. It's just a few verses here. Let's just read what it says here.
14 and 15.
Verses 11 through 18 as we close.
Okay. It says, Then I saw another beast rising up out of the earth. He had two horns like a lamb, and he spoke like a dragon. He exercises all the authority of the first beast in his presence when the two are together. He makes the earth and those who inhabit it worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed. He performs great signs, awe-inspiring acts, even making fire fall from the sky to the earth right before the people's eyes. And he deceives those unconverted ones who inhabit the earth into believing him because of the signs which he is given by Satan to perform in the presence of the first beast, telling those who inhabit the earth to make an image to the beast who was wounded fatally by the sword and has come back to life. And he is given power to breathe to the image of the beast, so that the image of the beast will even appear to speak and cause those who do not bow down and worship the image of the beast to be put to death. Also, he compels all, the small and the great, and the rich and the poor, and the free and the slaves, to be given a mark on their right hand or on their forehead, signifying allegiance to the beast, and that no one will be able to buy or sell except the ones who has the mark, either the name of the beast or the number of his name. Here is the wisdom. Let people who has enough, let the person who has enough insight calculate the number of the beast, for it is the imperfect number of a man, and his number is 666.
Okay, so we're gonna leave you there because this is where we're at. Now, next month, what we want to do, because we couldn't get it all in this month, we want to look at texts that reveal shocking secrets of our history. And we're going to let you know where we got some of our research from and how we keep this conversation going.
Amen.
So this is enough, I think, for today for you to meditate on. And, you know, since this is a digital recording that you can play it over and over. And this digital recording is in the archives now.
Yes.
For people when they start, you know, really seeing this stuff. Because, see, a lot of people are not worried about stuff right now.
No,
But
they're
most
not.
people are worried, are looking at, you know, if I got enough money to buy me a house and a car and
Food to
purchase
eat,
food
you know.
and clothes on my back and send my kids to school, and, you know, I'm all right.
Right.
You know what I mean? And you know, this automated system, AI, you know, I can work for a corporation that uses it, and I can use it, you know, to my advantage,
Yes.
right?
That's right.
So they're not looking at how, when they say super intelligence, this is where AI is headed to. They're not looking at human consciousness moving into digital biological life while preventing humans through inside machines. So that's where this thing gets off the rail when we allow our conscious to move into a machine, right?
You're not kidding.
Because the conscious of man is the spirit of man, right?
That's right.
And that's the part of man that is invisible. So you just can't move the brain into a machine because the brain is an organ, right?
That's right.
But this spirit soul part of us is something supernatural.
Right.
That if you go back and look at, for instance, the emerald tablets and thorn and all of that, they seem to have this knowledge that they could move the conscious into different bodies or different, it may have been machines, they called them avatars.
Machines.
So they had that knowledge. And I know man is, I mean, this is mythological stuff we've been talking about, but the only reason I like to keep it mythological because I don't want to get into anybody's business and mess up their money, right? That ain't my business what they do, right?
It's our business just to tell the truth.
That's all. So see, a lot of legends and myths that people have read and studied, they're finding out that a lot of legends and myths are true. That this really can happen, right?
Right.
So this is why when we study next month about texts that reveal shocking secrets of our history. So you notice I didn't say Bible, I didn't say religion. Texts. Texts are written documents or written blueprints or written instructions on how to do things, right? That works every time. You know, just like we know that they have magical formulas that work every time, right?
Right.
I mean, we're going to get all into that. So we thank you for, you know, viewing our videos, and we will see you next month. You have a good day. God bless you and keep you.
Amen.